and she was making him paranoid. And a little nuts, actually. They've been friends for a long time, though. So how old is the kid now? 4.5. He's great. Stefan. She was really scaring him. Now what? What the hell should he do? This wasn't a Mary Smith scene. Tracy wasn't even in his story. This was bad news. Suddenly he pulled his rented Volvo over to the side of the road. Now what? What's the matter? She asked. What? You'd better get out right here, Trace. I'm not kidding you. Get out. Walk the rest of the way. Walk? Are you crazy? What are you talking about? Get out of the car right now. Get out before I throw you out. I got her moving. She threw open the passenger's door and stumbled outside, cursing him like a truck driver. It was cold out there, and she had both arms wrapped around her. Then she started to cry. You're crazy. You know that? I thought we were friends. She started to run away on the dark residential side street somewhere between the Marriott and her hotel. The storyteller got out of the car and found himself following close behind. Tracy, wait. Hey, Tracy. He caught up to her easily. Hey. I'm sorry for scaring you, baby. I'm really sorry. Hey, you okay? And then he shot her in the throat. And when she was down on the sidewalk, he shot her again in the head. And this time it wasn't good. It didn't feel good at all. This time it felt kind of bad. It scared the hell out of him. Because the story was taking over. The story was writing itself. And the story didn't seem to care who got hurt.
Chapter 58. As I flew from Seattle back to Los Angeles the next day, it struck me again how darkly appropriate the Mary Smith case was as a backdrop to my entire life. I was also starting to feel like some kind of record setter for complicated or failed relationships. The only closure I had reached with Christine was that we would speak more soon. It excited me to think about having little Alex, Ali, closer by, but I wasn't about to get attached to the idea. Christine had proved herself too changeable in the past for me to trust that anything she said might happen for sure. As it turned out, I got sucked back into the murder case even before I made it through the terminal at LAX. A television news report caught my ear, and I stopped to watch the next development unfold. I couldn't look away as a talking head reported, "At a press conference this morning, lead detective on the Hollywood stalker case, Gene Galetta, denied the existence of any so-called kill list." Hollywood stalker was a media moniker that had emerged lately from Mary Smith. As for a kill list, I had no idea what the TV reporter was talking about. LAPD is urging area residents to remain calm and go about their business. Many people, however, aren't buying it. One citizens group appeared at the local precinct demanding to see the kill list, which police claim doesn't even exist. Either way, and whoever you choose to believe, one thing is clear. The stalker has this community, she inserted a reporterly pause, very much on edge. Lorraine Soley, reporting live from Beverly Hills. Kill list? What the hell was this? Had the LAPD found out something and then not shared it with us? It wouldn't be the only time. The first person I was able to reach at the FBI field office was David Fujishiro, another special agent assigned to the murder case. "It's way out in left field," he told me. "There's this supposed list with 21 names, starting with Patrice Bennett, Antonia Schiffman, and Marty Lowenstein-Bell. The idea is that it's Mary Smith's agenda." "And everyone in L.A. wants to know if they're on it?" I asked. "One of the 21? Right, and it gets even better than that. The rumor is that anyone on the list can buy their way off by sending $100,000 to a post office box in Orange County that doesn't seem to exist. We've checked it all out, not that anyone believes us. People are actually threatening legal action against the LAPD. But there's no truth to the rumor, David? You're sure? Not that we know of. But hey, what the hell do we know? We're only the FBI. This case is getting its own social life, I said. Has anybody spoken to Detective Galetta about the list? I don't know, but... What? There was a pause on the line. Hang on, Alex. David, what's happening? I could hear voices in the background, but nothing distinct. Agent Fujishiro came back on and told me to wait another second. Something's up, he added. Wait, I yelled. But it was no good. He was gone again. More voices came, then a general rumbling, rising in pitch. What the hell was happening? Then I heard Fujishiro saying, "Yeah, I've got him right here on the phone." Alex, Fred Van Allsburg needs to talk to you right now. Hold the line. I was never glad to hear from Van Allsburg, but his voice had a no-bullshit tension to it. What's going on? I said. That's what we're trying to figure out right now. All we know at the moment is that Arnold Greiner at the Times just got another email. Can you get over to the LA Times office right away? Not if there's a new murder scene, I can't. I need to see it now. I'm not going to negotiate this, Alex. We'll get word to you as soon as we know what's what. Meanwhile, I couldn't help myself. I cut him off. Sir? Hello? Can you hear me? I hung up in the middle of Van Allsburg shouting that he could hear me fine. Then I called Agent Page and told him to put me on hold until we knew if Mary Smith had a new victim. Chapter 59. Susie Cartoulis wasn't paying much attention to the real world as she backed out of the driveway that morning. Her thoughts were on an unfinished pool cabana in the backyard of the house in Pacific Palisades, and the blankety-blank contractor who wasn't returning any of her phone calls, who never returned her calls, only her husband's. 2 more days like this and she was going to fire the guy's ass. Right after she set it on fire. Another car, idling just past a neighbor's cedar hedge, came into sight at the last second. Susie braked hard to avoid hitting the jerk who was parked there. Her heart thudded. That certainly would have been an auspicious way to start her day, a fender-bender 10 feet from her driveway. She gave a quick wave into the rearview mirror. Sorry, my bad. Then she put her silver Mercedes wagon in drive and started down the cul-de-sac toward Sunset. The other car pulled out as well and began to follow, but Susie Cartoulis didn't notice. Her focus had shifted to the 9-year-old boy in the back seat. Are you all right, Zach? I didn't mean to stop so suddenly like that. I'm fine. All right. Just checking, sweetie. How about a little music? What do you want to hear? She tried not to be overbearing, but it was hard sometimes. Zachary was such a sensitive boy, and he didn't react well to being ignored either. Maybe if he had a little brother or sister, but that wasn't going to happen any time soon. Not now that Susie had become the 10 o'clock anchor. She had finally gotten into the inner sanctum of recognizable faces in L.A. No small feat for a former weather girl from Tucson, thank you very much. And she wasn't going to let another pregnancy slow her down right now. Especially since New York was apparently very interested in her as well. As if on cue, the phone rang. Caller ID showed her husband's cell number, and she juggled the headset up to her ear. Hi, where are you, honey? She spoke through a frown she was glad Gio wasn't there to see. Miami. I think we're wrapping up. I have to shoot up to Palm Beach in a minute. Of course, there's another hurricane on the horizon, so I want to vamoose out of here. We just need a few signatures, but it looks like the contract's a go. Great, she said with hollow enthusiasm. She was supposed to know what project he was talking about, but they all blended together. Something about a shopping mall in southern Florida. Was that right? Was Vero Beach in South Florida? The Treasure Coast? This was their game. He spoke about his work as if she cared, and she pretended to. So I should be home tonight instead of Monday, which would be nice. Maybe play a little golf this week? Wyatt finally invited me to Riviera. Mm-hmm. How's the little dude? He's right here. Hang on. Susie surrendered the phone to the back seat. It's Daddy. Be nice. She was already rearranging today's schedule in her head. Get someone else to cover the mayor's press conference on the ongoing murders. Have the housekeeper pick up Zach after tennis practice. Call Brian, see if he can get away, then call the Ramada and ask for an early check-in. Get laid properly once more before her all-business, all-the-time husband got back to town. Make it an afternoon to remember. Chapter 60.
To A. Greiner at LATimes.com, from Mary Smith. To Susie Cartulas. People in Los Angeles watch you on television every day, reporting the news, acting like you really know what's going on. That's what you do so well. Acting, pretending, faking it with flair. But today will be a little different, Suze. Today, you will be the news. They'll say that Susie Cartulas and her handsome former beach volleyball champ lover were found slain in a hotel room. That's how you people talk, isn't it? Slain. But no matter what they say on the news, no one will ever know just how you looked at me when I killed you. The incredible fear, the confusion, and what I took to be respect. It was different this morning outside your fancy house in Pacific Palisades. You almost bumped into me with your highly polished silver Merc wagon, and you looked right through me. You did, Suze. Trust me on that. I remember these kinds of things. Then, just like the others, you went on with your day like I wasn't even there. I had a feeling today might be the last one for you. Then I was sure of it. First I watched you say goodbye to your darling little boy for the last time. He probably can't appreciate everything you do for him, all the sacrifices, but he'll think about it later, when someone else has to take him to school or to practice the next time he goes. You're right about one thing, though. You should have made more time in your life for Zachary. Coulda, shoulda. Then I followed you to the hotel in West Hollywood. At first I didn't know why you went there, but I figured it out pretty quickly that you weren't going to die alone. That delicious-looking blonde man you met, you two were perfect for each other. Central casting all the way. I could tell just by looking that he's the kind of somebody you are. Am I right? He went to the Olympics, after all. He's an exec at your network, another fast tracker. And now you have another thing in common. You're both dead somebodies. Killed by a nobody you couldn't even see when you looked right at her. I gave you two some quality time before I came up there for you. Enough time to feel safe in your little cocoon of deceit. Maybe even enough to do what you had in mind for your sneaky little rendezvous. Then, when I came in, I saw him first. That was a bit of good luck. Know why? I wanted you to see him die. It put the fear of God on your face before I shot you. And then I got to cut that fear away, one piece at a time, till you weren't afraid anymore. You weren't anything anymore. You were nothing, Susie Cartulas. Just like me.
Chapter 61. I was still on the road when word came about Mary Smith's latest. A triple homicide this time, the killer's deadliest strike to date, at least as far as we knew for certain. I was still chasing down leads on the triple homicide in New York, but progress was slow, and suddenly I was off to another crime scene. Susan Cartulas, a prize-winning newscaster, had been found dead, along with her lover, in a room at the Ramada Plaza Suites in West Hollywood. The dead man was Brian Conver, a sports producer at the same network where Ms. Cartulas worked. A second woman, Mariah Alexander, a college student who attended Southern Cal, had also been killed. What was that all about? I asked Agent Page to read Mary Smith's latest email message over the phone while I drove. The text made clear that the newswoman had been the primary target. Mr. Conver was never mentioned by name, and there was no reference whatsoever to any Mariah Alexander. What do we know about Susan Cartulas? I asked Paige.